public, and then the board has to act in some way, shape, or form. In this particular situation, we're not acting. This is truly
It's an informational meeting.
We're not a public hearing, it's more of an information.
That's where I was going. Does it have to be advertised like a public hearing?
No. I mean, it'll be an informational. It'll be advertised as an informational meeting, not a public hearing.
Yeah, okay.
So that's my. Sorry, I used the wrong terminology.
Good.
I'm
One last question that I have is, and this would kind of be unheard of, even speaking about in years past, but now with the fluctuation of prices of homes decreasing, once we're in this situation where it's being reevaluated every year, conceivably could the assessment go down?
Oh, sure.
It could.
Oh, yes. So, I mean, it's a numbers game. If your assessments are low, your tax rate is high. If your assessments are high, your tax rates are low. I mean, so it's just a...
So that you collect the same amount of money.
Right.
Still got to collect the same amount of money.
You have to collect the same amount of money for the municipal to run. But what I see here is ultimately what we're trying to do is take out the inequities of each of the properties. What's happening is how many lawsuits and how many suits do we have, Dennis, right now?
Over 500.
We have over 500 people claiming that there are inequities. Whether there are or not, there are over 500 people claiming there are.
Right.
So on each of these, they go to the grievance board, they come to the assessor, and ultimately end up in court. Well, we have to defend all of these things, whether there is an inequity or not an inequity. And the costs are incredibly exorbitant, but people don't understand what we're doing. So what we're really doing is trying to get everyone on the level playing field so we don't have to spend all this money in court for the people that feel that there are inequities, or the firms that are blanket sending solicitations to all these people saying, well, we may be able to get you some tax money back, so let us handle it, and they take a percentage of it. And these people have called predators and have been criticized by the firms. So this will eliminate all of those things and put the predators kind of out of business in Goshen, and everyone will be fairly assessed. So that's the ultimate goal. I don't need to get on my grandstand, but...
So Joanne, can you correct the number? It's not 500. What is the number?
On what?
Small claims court.
The small claims this year is 103.
This year?
Yeah, 500 includes all tax certs.
All the tax certs, yeah, we have 500.
But the reason I'm saying that, though, because there's a significant decrease this year in small claims court versus last year.
There is, yes. And that's the other thing. I mean, I'm doing the appraisals myself, about halfway through them currently. So, in essence, that saves us money from having to get outside help with that.
And then once they either get it lowered by a percentage or whatever, that's only for that current year. The following year we have to go through the same litany. Once we do this reevaluation, then everything will be on a level playing field. We won't be spending this kind of money. And
well, a lot of
commend
people...
your office, Joanne,
Thank you.
all the hard work that you're doing.
A lot of people, truly, they look at their tax bill and they don't understand the difference between the assessed value and what the state uses to come up with a full value. And then you talk about equalization rates and RERs, and they even... So if we're at 100%, their house is worth 300, it's assessed at 300, and on their tax bill it'll show a full market value of 300. So they better understand. So when these predators, as you say, come along,
there's nowhere for them to go.
Exactly.
No
people can understand, they actually will understand their tax bill better than what they currently do.
Yeah. That's
good. Okay, thank you very much, Joanne.
Okay, well, thank you.
Safe trip.
Safe trip home. Yeah. Okay, well, Bill, let's bring you on next as well. It's item 12, the first draft of the 2011 town budget. I have not seen this. Bill, this is
I like to be prepared.
Okay.
Hey, pass on that now. There you go. Easy enough. Just a suggestion. Okay, Nick,
You really want to talk about this? I see the top page.
Well, listen,
It's
what-
crazy.
No,
That's it, you wanna-
okay, what I want to do is this is the first cut, first draft. We've not done anything, so this is, but I told everybody, 2011 is going to be an incredible year. And so get used to it. It is what it is, and we're going to have to start dealing with it. So, Bill, you take us through this?
We'll start just as it lays out. The A and the DA funds both relate to both village and town residents, so I group those together. Page 2 is B and DB, which is town residents only. On the back page, at the very bottom, you'll see the fund balances at the end of '09 that are available during the year of '10 that we should have left to apply for appropriations for 2011. And at the very bottom, I'll go over those first. You see that we have for the A fund $329,000 and for DA $276,000.
This was at the end of December 2009. Right,
That
right,
are not already appropriated.
right.
Now, for 2011, I have not yet applied anything toward the taxes for A, pending discussion with our attorney and the board on, revaluations taxes, because they're hitting us very hard. Also pending a review of where we're at through August in the A fund to see how we're trending, because anything that we're over budget, which we are severely, and of course the legal and the engineering for appraisals, we want to make sure that the significant fund balance left to absorb whatever we overshoot this year due to the tax rate. So we want to be careful of those on our first run, but there is money available should we think that we can forecast that we're not going to be so heavily applied.
Now, in your fund balances, do you have all the contingency money as well?
No, this fund balance is without any contingency
Okay.
money, that especially what's going to be left over the end of the year. I don't think I changed any of the contingencies for 2011 yet. Whatever I had in place for each of the 4 funds, I had left in place, I believe. But we can either decrease those or increase those as we see the need to go along. So understand that the rate that you see on the front page really is not a great picture. It's a good trend picture on one hand, because 2011 is not going to be great because of what we're going through. We go back to page 1, you see it across the top, each of the funds, the very preliminary increases at this point. PDR shows a 100% decrease, obviously, because we're not doing PDR, so that's just a paper fact. Fund A, you'll see in 2010 what we budgeted for each of those revenue accounts and each of the expense accounts. In 2011, what we are budgeting, at least preliminarily, and you can see the change upward or downward. You look at A, revenues, the appropriated fund balance, we allowed $275,000 to be applied toward the tax base to keep the taxes at a low rate. In 2010, we only have $329,000 left, and we pull another $275,000 out. We're in a lot of trouble if we go through too much of that fund balance. So for the moment, we're not applying anything. Bank interest, we're very careful about that, because banks are really beginning to charge us everywhere. They're charging every municipality because they're in trouble. So I didn't bother budgeting there. It's not a huge number, but I just wanted to show that that's something I'm just not going to, just like a miscellaneous column, not wise to try to budget for a miscellaneous column. Court fines, we had a budget of $350,000 for 2010. Right now we're trending, I think, 283. And as we work through September and October toward our tentative budget and our preliminary budget, we'll have a few more months in the door to see where our trend is going, whether it's stronger or weaker. The revaluation revenue we had in 2010, assuming that the county was going to reimburse us for that. That's not the case. That won't happen until we're actually done with the project. I pulled that out. We'll put it back in 2012. So, parkland fees, the excess money we had from parkland that we determined we would apply toward taxes, that's now used. So that's a vacant line. We now have to take that money out. So that's always the wonderful news, is that when you have extra money left in 2009 and you're going to apply it to 2010, everybody's happy. But P.S., the news is that when 2011 rolls around, you either have to have the same amount of money from that same line, or else you have to start feeding it back in again. So that's what's happening with our appropriated fund balance, a little bit of our court fines, and the parkland fees. You'll see the parkland fees have the same effect in the B fund. For expenses, our net decrease in revenues in the A fund is $468,000.